Hello again, friends, and welcome to another segment of Doc G's Wine and Spirits Review. We are here getting ready for the annual Thanksgiving feast in our country and here in our home. If you remember last year, we actually spent 3 weeks on Thanksgiving. We've been busy, so we condensed that a little bit this year, and we're going to do something for you tonight. As you can see by the array of things here on the table, something just a little bit different. We're going to do some punches for you that are things that you might want to serve when you have a large gathering during your Thanksgiving festival. So welcome to my wonderful sidekick here, who has helped me put together. I always give her credit for the ambiance, the pumpkins and the gourds and the. I would probably just come on here and start spewing things about booze and alcohol. And she dresses it up a little bit. So
trying to add a little class, you know.
Yeah, she does that. So for our first punch, we're going to do two of them for you. One that's a little bit lighter, so to speak, in color, and one that we found that is actually a mulled wine punch. We'll finish with that one, but we want to start with the one that you see before you right now. So I'm going to turn it over to my lovely assistant and let her introduce to you the first punch of the evening.
We are going to do a Thanksgiving punch with rum. One of my favorites. Okay? And
my wife has a rum habit.
Well, I could have worse habits.
Guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged, right. And I have to look at this because in this rum, in this punch that we're going to do tonight, we're going to have honey and cloves and cinnamon sticks, apple cider, cranberry juice, the rum, and ginger beer. And we're going to garnish it with some of our seasonal bounties here.
And in truth be told, we don't know how this is going to taste. So you're going to see the look on our face when we're done with this. We have not tried this one. So we're going to mix it together and we're all going to try it together.
That's what we're going to do. Why not? Okay. Alrighty then. Let's see. We are going to start. We're going to post this. We're going to post the recipe on the Doc G site. But for now, I'm just going to talk through it and we'll put it all together. Okay?
This, if I can interrupt, this is basically an apple cider based punch, which goes very well with the Thanksgiving holiday. This is fresh apple cider that we got and have in this punch. And obviously the rum is a very important part of this as well. We toned this down a little bit. We did it in proportion. This punch, that if you follow the entire recipe as posted, is probably meant for, probably depending on how people like to drink, maybe an 8 to 10 large group of people. We're only 2 and we want to be able to make it through this. So we've done it proportionally, but we have kept the proportions very exact so that it represents the whole recipe. So what we did in advance was we prepared what you see in this glass, which is in this jug, which is mainly the apple cider part, and I'm going to let Ann read to you or share with you what's in this portion of the punch.
You're going to take 2 cups of apple cider and cinnamon sticks and honey and whole cloves, and you're going to simmer them on the stove for a while. Okay? Don't boil them, because if you boil them, you're going to destroy the alcohol. And that's
well, there's no alcohol in this part, but they don't ask you to boil this one. There's no alcohol yet. The alcohol will come in later.
I'm not going to boil out, but the rum's not in there.
You could boil this, but you don't have to.
Okay. So anyway, that's what we did ahead of time, and then we let all the spices just kind of steep in that.
And I'll be honest with you.
Then added the rest of the plain.
Smells like an apple pie. Smells so great.
The rest of the plain apple cider. So you can put that in there.
So this is part 1. Oh, look at that. We were hoping, we didn't know if this bowl was big enough or not. But it looks like it's going to just work.
We're going to be close.
So that has the cloves, as she just said, the cinnamon sticks, and the apple cider that were heated. And as I was doing this beforehand, the aroma was just Thanksgiving all over the place.
I don't know if this is all gonna fit.
Yeah, it'll fit. There's a lot of room here.
This is rum.
This is the spiced rum.
This is the spiced rum, and we're gonna pour that in there. I don't know. And then we're gonna add.
Whoops.
We're gonna add ginger beer. And where are we gonna put the cranberry juice?
Right on the top. There's a lot of surface area here. It's all by volume. So we'll stir that up. And we'll add the cranberry juice. Now, mind you, we thought this was for 2 people. I guess we're going to have to save some of this for company.
I'll say.
So this is only 1/3 of the recipe. So you can see it's a rather large punch, which is good if you have a large group. And I would say to you, you're all smart enough to understand, if you look at the recipe and want to make it proportionally, just do the division problems and you'll have what you need. So we're now going to garnish it.
Now, you should garnish this with oranges, green apple, and lemon, which I have sliced right here. There is no way it's going to go in this bowl.
We can put one in.
So,
1 apple.
no. So what I'm going to do is this.
We'll garnish our glass with it.
We're going to garnish our glass instead.
So,
We aren't here. We don't usually do punches.
but we thought
So
we'd do
that's why I
something
was ill
different.
prepared with a big enough bowl.
So while she's doing that, I'm going to ladle some of this to give a little bit of room. You're supposed to serve it over ice, which I'm doing right
There's
now.
your orange.
There's my orange. It is kind of lovely. It's a beautiful,
It looks like apple cider.
looks like an apple cider, beautiful amber color. That seems to be enough, 4 or 5 ladles there. Garnish it with a rosemary sprig. I'll do that.
It does look festive.
So we're gonna let that get a little chilled because we've been letting this sit and cool after we steep the spices. We have no idea what the flavor is gonna be here.
And you
So-
can tell that this is all impromptu because like we almost had a flood here.
So, the rosemary sprig is in there. I'm not really sure. That's probably to add aromatics. Chintan, let's see what it looks like or tastes like. Very aromatic. Oh,
Oh, I like that.
I could get used to that.
Oh my, it's like drinking apple pie.
It is the rum. If you were to have the rum alone, the rum gets lost in it. But I'm sure this is one of those times when you don't want to let that person at your party have too many glasses of this, because I'm sure this packs a little bit of a wallop.
Oh my.
In all honesty, that is actually excellent. So
We usually don't, like I said, we don't do punches, but I would definitely serve this one because it's just very, very fallish, and this might even be good warm, to tell you the truth.
well, they want it over ice.
Like
but
if you want a hot toddy, you might even be able to do this warm. It's really it's not sweet.
it's not sweet, but it's actually
Flavorful,
it's
fruity.
very, very smooth. It is, as I said in the onset, it's an apple cider based alcoholic drink. If you like apple cider, this is basically a way to kick up your apple cider and have it taste basically like an alcoholized apple pie. It is actually,
That's
it
very good.
exceeds my expectations.
A lot of people don't like rosemary because it's very piney and pungent.
It helps though balance the sweetness.
It's like we like rosemary and I use it in cooking a lot, and it is definitely a different smell that I maybe would not pair with apples, but you don't need it. If you say, oh no, I don't want the rosemary, this is fine without the rosemary because it doesn't add any flavor here. It's more the aromatics that you get with it. and when you put your nose in the glass. If you don't like rosemary, not necessary, but everything else is really good.
So, we have a dilemma. There's two of us and a punch bowl that has, from here,
Rum.
from here it looks like a gallon. But we'll put that aside. I'm sure that will keep. We'll seal it up. And I have company coming tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll...
Guess what they're getting?
I guess they're going to have their cocktails going to be a Thanksgiving rum punch. So we will post this for you, something that you can contemplate if you don't like rum. If you don't, all you have to do is Google Thanksgiving Day punches, and you can find what it is you like.
And the predominant flavor in here is really apples. I wouldn't know that there was ginger beer in there. I wouldn't even know there was rum in there. It's just a very nice cinnamony, warm blend.
It's a good blend.
It's really a good
So
blend.
the people or person, whoever engineered this recipe, A+. They did a fantastic job, and this is one that I would highly recommend. So now, we're going to do a little housekeeping here. Move some of these things aside, get them out of the way, and we're going to go to our, that mulled wine. This is a little bit too big to move, so we're just going to let that sit there for now. And we're going to bring into the picture here, there you go, dear, something that we prepared in advance. This is actually our second go-round with this one. We both had this the other night to preview it, and we both took a nap after we had a sip of this. So it was a bit powerful, and you'll understand why in a minute, because I'm going to take the realm here, and I'm going to put my reading glasses on for you and get ready to tell you all about the recipe called Last Minute Mulled Wine. Now, I'm just going to put it out there, point blank. I am not a big mulled wine person. I do not like warm alcoholic drinks, but I think this recipe changed my mind just a little bit. So this one comes from liquor.com, and it's called Last Minute Mulled Wine. And basically it was said, people just pop in and you want to quick make up a punch. This is in 15 minutes, you can have a punch. And that is the truth. So the ingredients for this, I'm just going to give you the ingredients because again, based on your crowd size, you can proportionalize the amount that you want to put in for everything. So you want to look for a fruity red wine, and they recommend either a Beaujolais or a Syrah. We used a Syrah, one that we actually made at a local winemaker on our own, and it's a really good Washington State Syrah, and that's what's in this glass.
My favorite.
You can use bourbon or brandy. I keep both of them in my home for the purposes of this recipe in front of you. I use bourbon, and you can use bourbon or brandy. I would like to try with brandy because brandy actually brings a totally different profile. Make it a little less alcoholic, but nevertheless, it would bring a different flavor profile. They recommend, and then there's sugar in it. We substitute out stevia for the sugar to keep the calories down, as if it means anything. There's star anise, which is an ingredient you find in a lot of gins. It imparts kind of a little bit of a light licorice flavor in it. And then when you steep the mixture, you put long slices, thin slices of lemon and orange and citrus.
The peel.
The peel. And then you use a cinnamon stick, which you'll see in our glass, to garnish your drink. So basically you add the red wine bourbon and you just warm it up. You can't let it boil, because she was referring to this earlier. You can't let it boil or you lose the alcohol. So you let it get warm enough that the alcohol does not burn off, and you remove that from the heat. Once it's warm, just stick your finger in it and it feels warm, you're done. You're okay. Just a low heat. 5 to 10 minutes to let it cool, even longer. And then you just put this right in your mug from the pan. That's why they call it a quick. So we've garnished it. Cheers. And let's taste this one in front of you again. This is our second version of this.
That's different.
That's wonderful. You can actually taste the bourbon, but the
Yeah.
wine takes over the bourbon, and the spices and the citrus is really prominent. I would recommend that you really get fresh star anise because that's kind of missing. Our star anise pods are kind of old. I had them from a gin making kit.
But there's anise on the finish. Very light, but there's anise on
Peppery.
the finish. So you get that wine up front. And then, like mid palate, you get that bourbon. You know how bourbon is like smoky.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of that in
Because
there.
it's cured in oak barrels.
And
so.
then the cinnamon, and then the anise at the end, which is very, very light. Because I know a lot of people don't like that licorice flavor, although anise is very light, not like a strong licorice flavor. But it's very good. It's very good.
So-
and I think I would like this a little bit warmer than what we have it.
Well, you know, we had to let it cool
It's
down.
been sitting here,
It
yeah.
probably, this one cooled off a little bit, but you know what? It's still, quote, room temperature. And it is, we had it the other night and it was a little warmer than we have it now tonight. But this, it actually has a wonderful citrus nose on it. You would almost, it's got the little oak, a little citrus. You don't really smell the cinnamon. The cinnamon, I think, just imparts a little spiciness to it. So, we hope that you and yours enjoy a wonderful Thanksgiving. It has gotten strangely cold here the last couple days, so these
Although
two.
it could be worse, we could be in Buffalo.
That's true. We are not in Buffalo. So, but we do have a little bit of, believe it or not, there was a little bit of snow cover out here in my backyard, just a very, very, very light white in my grass
Last night.
But Thanksgiving is but less than a week away. We hope that you enjoy your holiday with your family, with your friends. Please stay safe, enjoy the holiday, and we will talk to you again as we start to get in to our favorite season of the year, the Christmas season. So until then, dear,
Be
cheers.
thankful.
Happy
Cheers,
Thanksgiving.
and happy Thanksgiving. I am thankful for this.